back to that Roger Bannister story, like no one, I repeat this all the time, but no one thought he could run less than a 4-minute mile. And then he did. And within that year, 19 other people did. So when we start seeing change in others, we can see more change in ourselves and know what's possible. And I think, so this is a year to dream, like any year, allowing yourself choice.
If you are the wholer you are, the more complete you are, the better you can offer yourself to others, and in these activities that we do, working with others to provide them the support that they are seeking, it's essential, right? It's essential to have that congruence with self. And also, one of the things that I want is a lot of it is like self-understanding and also understanding others, what's going on to better serve them. Which is a completely different mindset that I had, years ago. Right?
It's quite amazing. I mean, and that's one thing that I've learned. If I want to see change in myself, the best way to see that is to see change in others, and just, one, it gives you the possibilities. When we see our fellow human beings changing and making the difference in their life, that's what drives us to say it's possible, like, è possibile in Italian, right? See, getting my lessons in there. So you can have this more. It goes back to that Roger Bannister story, like no one, I repeat this all the time, but no one thought he could run less than a 4-minute mile. And then he did. And within that year, 19 other people did. So when we start seeing change in others, we can see more change in ourselves and know what's possible. And I think, so this is a year to dream, like any year, allowing yourself choice, right? That you can choose, that I can choose. And I think you're right. That wholeness, that being that you're bringing up, Alvaro, is so important, because if my glass is diminished, like if you just have a pitcher of water or a glass of water, how can you give? I saw this with my parents. Like my mom, I used to be so upset at her, and it wasn't until later in my adult life that I realized she didn't have much water to give. How can I blame her or be upset with her? She gave everything that she could, but it wasn't much. And then that's where, and there's a lot of times she did give, so I'm not taking it to like zero or anything, but she gave what she could. That's what I'm getting at. And so I have so much more compassion for her, even as I've learned this, and that has driven these decisions. And so wherever you are, starting 2021, it's in that forgiving others, letting that go. Because if you hold that grudge or that upsetness, what I found is I was taking energy away from myself. I was like losing self energy because I was harboring and holding that, and or also forgiving myself, where like I've said on previous podcasts, where I felt like a failure and I was like, I was letting myself down. So I think if you want to, for me, and I don't know what you guys think about this, but first thing is first, letting go, right? It's kind of interesting. We're reaching for what we want for this new year, but also we have to let go at the same time, which is a strange, like oxymoron, right? How do you grab onto something and let go at the same time? But it's in that space of targeting which way I want to go, and then letting it evolve, because the path that we think is going to get us to the end of 2021 is probably not exact, right? So if we can just set ourselves in the right direction, this is the way I want to go, and then allow the how to come about. That's what, flexibility, right? So,
yeah. I've been thinking about that. The first part about the grudges and whatnot, I think a lot of it has to do with maturity, the maturity of letting go that things are not the way. We cannot change how other people are reacting or are doing. That's not on our realm. The only thing that we can do is change how we perceive others' actions or how we perceive whatever circumstances. And that allows us to be more focused on the things that we actually do want. And that congruence is that letting go, because having that self, it's like, yeah, these are the things that I want, and I'm congruent, following the steps that I think are best to get there, but just let it go a little bit of the outcome, and the outcomes come on their own.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's what I've found as well. And it took
it's,
some work.
It's weird.
It took some work. It took some work in self to adjust, because it wasn't the way that I thought,
or that you have to, be, on the clock, and that is, what do you need to be punished for?
Right. Yeah. That we think that it has to be hard. That goes back to the no pain, no gain, that
Right.
yes, there is gain in things that are painful, and most likely we'll remember them really well because it was painful, but there's also a lot to gain without pain. And so we shouldn't overlook that as well. Give permission for that to come.
And that's not taking away effort, right? Because if the effort if you're putting that effort out of like wanting and out of love, right? It's like parenting, right?
Yeah.
It's hard.
There's moments for sure. It's
right.
It's the biggest learning thing in my life. It's crazy. And you think as a parent, you're supposed to be teaching them, but I think I learn more than they are learning. I've learned more from the situation than I think they do. So it's a tremendous part of my life. Hey there, I want to give you something really big. It's called Clear Path to Customers. It's the way that we get the right language to get the right client. I like to call them your wow clients, so that you can have more results, more revenue, more raving fans, and more referrals. And I want to give this to you absolutely free. And all you have to do is go to stevenapolitan.com to check it out, or you can look at the description here. We'll put the details there. As always, remember, choose gratitude and create freedom.